Pumpkin, a love story. Pumpkin, a love story, is an odd one to say the least. It was written almost 8 years ago and cost me a 3-year relationship. And I don't mean that vaguely. I mean it literally. My girlfriend of 3 years called me in tears and dumped me, which really hurt because I had written it for her. Looking back on this, I cannot actually believe I expected her to laugh. I still think it's pretty funny, just not when written for a girlfriend. This invention revolves around the man, yours truly, and Pumpkin, my beloved. Pumpkin was my actual nickname for her. She was one of the funnier people I've dated. The problem is, I never told her how much certain things made me laugh. One thing she'd do is hug me in public and jog in place while we embraced. She did it just to embarrass me, and it worked like a charm. I would always act like I hated it, but in all honesty, I thought it was hilarious. It was one of my favorite things she did. You'll notice a lot of barbarism in the humor, and that's what really freaked her out. I thought she'd understand where it was coming from, but instead she just thought I was a piece of shit, and that was that. It's one of the few things I regret writing, because it didn't accurately represent the way I felt about her. There was no hidden anger seeping out. This was purely done to be funny. Actually, it's the handing over part that I regret. Jesus, I was an ass. It's a hot day in July. 98 degrees, humid, and the man is waiting impatiently on the corner. He looks at his watch again, wondering when this fucking bitch is going to get here. He doesn't mind waiting sometimes. There's a lot of hot pussy to look at here in the Big Apple. The man has his eye on some black broad's ass. He normally doesn't go for blacks, but this broad looks like she was just built for fucking, when he hears an annoying and familiar sound from the middle of the crowd. Meep, 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 meep. The man feels his fist balling up. Every time he hears this meep meep shit, he wants to knock out 2 or 3 of this bitch's teeth and put her in the hospital. He knows he can't do that. The judge said one more assault on a woman and he was going back up the river. Not that Pumpkin knew any of this, and probably wouldn't have believed it if she did. Maybe I can make it look like an accident. His thoughts are interrupted as he is jolted back into reality. Meep meep! Pumpkin coming through! People began to move about trying to clear a path. Meep meep! Excuse me, guys, there's a pumpkin coming through. The man sees her approaching, head down, doing that stupid walk, jog in place type shuffle she does. She spots the man, and her face breaks out into a moronic grin. Hi, honey. I hope you weren't waiting long. I had to make a quick stop in the bathroom. What else is new? This broad shit's like a goose eating Mexican food. The man never met a chick who spent so much time on the bowl. Before he could say a word, she chimed in with, Pumpkin had to go to the bathroom and make pumpkin seeds, which makes the man want to vomit and crack her skull open all in one motion. The man can't do either of those things, though. He needs it for something, so he just forces a big smile and says, No, Pumpkin, I wasn't waiting long. Not long at all. The 10-block walk back to the car is an exquisite kind of torture. The sun is relentlessly beating down on the man's head. His feet are sore, and he has a rectal itch that should be entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. Earlier that day, the man was masturbating with a pretzel rod in his anus. The combination of salt, sweat, and chafing has made his backside an amusement park of discomfort. He makes a mental note to try unsalted rods. To top it all off, Pumpkin is prattling on incessantly about her day. And then he said, blah, 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 so I look at her and go, blah, blah, blah. The man is interjecting the occasional, really, honey? And, wow, that's interesting, but is all the while thinking how nice it would be to shut her the fuck up by cramming his sweaty man-meat into her pumpkiny yapper. They finally make it back to the car after 2 additional stops at the toilet for Miss Cancer Colon. There's traffic leaving the Lincoln Tunnel, and if she has to take another dump, she may just have to hang her fat ass out the window and shit all over the 495 Helix. The thought of this makes the man chortle with delight. What's so funny, sweetie? He doesn't answer, and is annoyingly prompted again. Come on, honey, tell me. Tell me the joke. Pumpkin likes jokes. The man looks at her and smiles good-naturedly. Smiling now is easy. He's picturing Pumpkin's head with the claw end of a hammer buried in it. I was just thinking about that time we were in the park and I stepped in poop. Remember how we both had such a laugh over that one? Our first picnic, and me with a sneaker full of poop. Pumpkin squeals with delight. Yes, I remember that. It was our first date. You hopping around on one foot and me calling you Mr. Poopy Shoes. This sends Pumpkin into gales of laughter, and the man smiles along. He remembers that day well, because he had taken Pumpkin to the park with the sole intention of raping her. They were walking to the spot when he set his foot down in a moist pile of fresh, butterscotch-colored dog shit. As he lifted his brand-new white Adidas high top to survey the damage, she's laughing and pointing and calling him Mr. Poopy Shoes. The man had to physically restrain himself from grabbing that squawking bitch by the hair and scraping a shitty shoe against her teeth. She was laughing so hard and leaping about, he was afraid she would drop the picnic basket and all the fried chicken and chloroform would fall out of it. Then she suddenly threw her arms around him and gave him a hug. "Don't worry. Pumpkin still likes you, Mr. Poopy Shoes," and kissed him on the cheek. Again, the man thought of cleaning his shoe on her face and raping her, but instead just gritted his teeth and said, "Thanks." The rest of the ride home isn't bad. She has finally realized he's ignoring her and shut up. Inside, though, his wheels are turning. Her parents just got her a new car. If he can get his hands on it and sell it, he can pay off a couple of debts. The trick is to be nice to her and then ask to borrow it. He's not worried about the police. He'll just tell him a nigger stole it. He brilliantly begins to plant the seed. "This damn car isn't running right, and I have to work tonight. Motherfucker!" He slams his fist on the wheel to drive home the point. "I'm afraid if I drive this thing tonight, I'll be killed. Ah, well, who'll care? As long as my Pumpkin is safe, I'm happy." Pumpkin, visibly alarmed, looks at the man. "Oh, honey, you'll do no such thing. Please, take my car tonight. I'll cancel that stupid concert." The man is secretly wondering how Pumpkin's platoon of dyke friends will react to that news. "No, Pumpkin, I couldn't let you do that. I want you to have fun tonight. Don't you worry about little old me. I'll be okay, I guess." "No, sweetie, I insist. I'll just have to call blah, 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 blah." He stopped listening already. She's going to cancel her show? No shit, Sherlock. If she didn't, he would have planted his foot so far in her box, she'd have been calling him Mr. Pussy Shoes. This thought makes the man chortle all over again, and the thought of her box gives him a stirring in his undershorts, which he squeezes roughly. "Maybe I'll get some relief for this puppy before I go out," thinks the man as he pulls into the driveway.